My name is Bethany Nugent. I'm a physical therapist, and I specialize in incorporating hippotherapy into my treatments with mostly children, some adults. And hippotherapy uses the movement of the horse to affect change in balance, posture, strength, and therefore function for kids with special needs. As far as how I got into it, very frankly, I was 6 years old. I loved Helen Keller. I loved Louis Braille. I loved all, learning about these people and our history. And so an aunt or somebody said, oh, you should become a physical therapist. And I couldn't say my R's. I was like, I'm going to be a physical therapist. Said that for years and years and years and years. And everyone's like, no, you won't. And I'm as stubborn as they come. And I was like, yes, I will. Sure enough, I pursued school for physical therapy. And halfway through, I thought, oh, this is boring. This is not what I want to do.
You're right.
And so about around the time I was graduating, I read an article about hippotherapy. And I'd written a little bit growing up. And I went and I watched a place. I thought, this is great. It made physical therapy make sense to me. Everything just came together. The kids, the happiness you saw in a farm versus in a clinic, there's the change in the family's demeanors and the camaraderie, and everything fell together. I thought, oh, okay, this is what I want to do. And I was lucky enough in my final internship to be at a facility where, despite other issues, the best thing was it was 900 acres. We had a pool, we had a farm, and we had a clinic.
Yeah.
I did it all. And what did I see the best results in? The farm. And so getting people out of the clinic and motivating them by something that loves them back and that's so normal gets the changes that we were looking for. I can't honestly say that every second I'm happy, because I will tell you right now, volunteer just canceled for this shift. I gotta jump in and be ready, and so there's frustrations. I had a kid suddenly quit because of an insurance thing, but with no notice, and it was like, so there's frustrations, but I don't think there's any moment where I have any regrets or they don't feel fulfilled. And so I guess when you talk about happiness versus fulfillment, I might not be happy every second of the day, but that also, you got to think, that's not, my career's not all I do. I'm extremely invested in what I do. And so I take credit and extreme happiness for the highest of highs, but with that comes financial troubles, and how are we going to fundraise, and oh gosh, we have a show on Sunday, is everything set, and all that. And so because of my investment in what I do and my passion for what I do, I'm also going to go with the lowest of lows and be stressed. And so if you caught me in a moment like that and said, are you happy? Well, something, I might not have said so initially, but the one thing is, when I see the families and I hate to say there's somebody always worse off than me, but I'm looking at these families who are overcoming so much more, and it's like, puts things in perspective. But I don't know how I define happiness, because I guess my more important thing is fulfillment. And that I can tell you I have hands down. Do I wear too many hats and sometimes feel over-baked and, stressed out? I mean, who doesn't? And I might take that to a higher level than some other people, but I don't know that I'd ever say I wasn't happy. I really find things happen for a reason. I might not know that reason immediately, and so there might be moments where I'm like, gosh, why me? Why that? Why them? Maybe it wasn't me, but maybe my sadness is for somebody. When a client of mine passed away, I can't say I was happy at that moment. I mean, I shed a lot of tears over that. But I was able to quickly go back and think of all those things that client taught me. And to this day, I mean, his picture broke, but it's usually up on our buffet. I mean, it's something I look at every day, and I'm like, thanks, Blake. Glad I knew you. So there's happiness in having known him. I had a little boy who had a near drowning when he was an infant, like 18 months old. I got him when he was 4, and there was no functioning, not even really recognition of his own mom's voice. I mean, it was just kind of a stare, and we were plodding along, doing everything we could think of, and still doing what we do as PTs and stuff. And we got this little miniature horse, and he had so much tone that he just stood. It wasn't that he was standing up upright on his own, but I just had him standing, and somebody brought the miniature up, and I held his hand, and he opened his hand. That's all he did. He opened his hand. His mom, you would have thought they just won the lottery, a trip around the world, and stress-free living for the rest of their life. Just that one little moment where her son opened his hand was huge for her. Whereas anybody else walking by at that moment, it wouldn't have thought twice about it. They would be like, oh, look, the kid went to pet the horse. They didn't know the history and stuff. So moments like that are just so powerful, and how can you not, want those? I think, and I've thought about this a lot, that's why it's kind of ironic that I've met you, but I wouldn't want my life. I hate the lows, but if you don't have the lows, you don't have the highs. Like a roller coaster. If you don't go to the bottom, you can't get to the top and then find the bottom, you know. I mean, it's all going on continuously. And so my hope every day is that I stayed at the top more and I had those moments, but I don't think I'd enjoy them if I weren't like, gosh, you know, last week I thought we were running out of money and I had no volunteers, and this week look at everyone who rallied together and came and repaired all of our fences, and Home Depot who donated all the materials, and look who really care about us. You know, I wouldn't appreciate that as much if I hadn't been down there.